What's up, boys and girls? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. Here to talk some Packers, talk some offseason. We got some free agency frenzy already really cranking up as there's another trade tonight. It's getting wild out there, Emilio. I don't remember an offseason being like this in a long time where there's just, it's just name after name after name that's on the trade block. And then, of course, we'll hit the breaking news here with Geno Smith. But how you doing, man?
I'm great, man. Good to be here. Excited for a little Friday night frenzy, man. Let's get it. Chat's filing in. I'm ready.
Tim and Jacob's not here, so we can just kind of cut loose a little bit. We don't have to be too professional.
You know what, Jacob, man, he's just been on the list. I absolutely just been pushing back.
I got tickled last night watching him and Tim go back and forth over Devontae and DK. That was hilarious, man. Tim got on him bad. He's, you going to sit here and tell me that you would take DK over Devontae return? I was cracking up, man. But anyway, we got a little bit of breaking news here. Is obviously people in the chat already talking about it. Appreciate everybody joining us. I know we got a herd of people in here. If you would hit that like button on the way in, appreciate y'all making us part of your Friday festivities here. Ian Rappaport tweeted out, the Seahawks are trading Geno Smith, quarterback, to the Raiders, reuniting him with his old coach, Pete Carroll, per the insiders as Seattle hits reset. It's a third-round pick going to Seattle and a new quarterback for Las Vegas. You know, it's funny, we've been talking about Geno Smith here lately, and, you know, some of the arguments or some of the stances, I should say, on DK Metcalf is he hasn't had a good quarterback. And we talked about Geno as an MVP candidate 2 years ago. Now, obviously, a third for Geno, man. I'm interested to see what everybody thinks in the chat. If you would, let me know if you think that's too much to give up for Geno or not enough, because I've heard it both ways. To me, I felt like that was pretty significant, man, a third-round pick for Geno. But what do you think about it, Neil?
Yeah, I guess you would take into consideration, he's going back to his old coach, Pete Carroll. Now, I didn't see this till you just put it up, but what sparked me was I was listening to DJ earlier, and he was saying, who could be a sneaky QB team in the draft would be Seattle. I'm like, why? Like, they got Geno. What are you talking about, DJ? And then 5 hours later, it's like, okay, there goes Geno. Like, DJ, but he was at the combine. I'm sure he heard the conversations, right? That's where all this is getting set up. It's not like they're setting it up the day of free agency. All this has been talked about before at the combine. They've had the discussions. You quote unquote, we're staying away from whatever is going to get them in trouble, but we're going to discuss what's going to happen on the 12th there. So I think that third's, I don't know, man. It could be a good value. He had a good year. He was on up and coming. But if you're Pete Carroll, how much time do you have? Do you want to work on, a rookie QB? Let's bring in somebody you're confident in, and then we can go from there. We got a lot of other holes to fix. Max Crosby didn't get the Aaron Rodgers that he requested, but a veteran QB nonetheless. I think that's not a bad move at all.
Yeah, and obviously it sounds like they're going to move on from Gardner Minshew. I believe they'd already announced they were going to cut him anyway. So I like the move for the Raiders. Get a veteran quarterback in there, and if you end up drafting Shedeur or whoever it may be to be your quarterback of the future, let Geno help show him how to be a pro. Obviously, he's familiar with Pete Carroll and what he wants in a starting quarterback. I don't mind the move at all for a third-round pick. You're not going to find a quarterback, in my opinion, in the draft that's going to step in and play at the level that Geno is capable of playing.
Right.
Doesn't mean he's going to, but capable of playing. You're not going to find that quarterback in the third round.
Looking at third-round quarterbacks projecting, would you want, I have a lot better faith projecting Geno Smith is going to be able to, like you said, handle that load, handle a veteran coach coming in and being able to get them through without him probably just ripping his hair out, right? So, and then at the same time, let's try to follow the Packers rule and get somebody sitting behind him and learning as well.
Yeah, I think we've created a monster here, Emilio. King Tron with the super chat said all offense mock draft. Out the box. That's 1 of 10. He's saying if we get 10 super chats tonight, they're going to force us to do an all offense mock draft. That actually sounds kind of cool.
That would be pretty slick. What's the timer at on that?
True, man. We'd have to go somewhat quick, but
yeah.
All right, so there you go. I like the idea, Tron. Listen, thank you for the super chat, buddy. We appreciate you supporting the show. I think it was Jake that chimed in. He said it felt about right for a third-round pick. So
we got Willis for a 7th. So we got a deal. I'm not saying Willis is Geno, but I'm saying that he can get some wins, and I think we got a screaming deal. I think that's just kind of what you're paying. You're seeing it now that this draft class is not like last year's. There was 6 quarterbacks that went in the top 15. So this is not last year's. Cam Ward is kind of creeping out as the number one, as you know, Cosell's been talking about him and stuff. But besides that, it's Cam Ward, Shadur, and then Jackson Dart, maybe the guy from Louisville. I mean, it's slim pickings out there, so you got to go with a veteran that you know that you can trust.
Definitely. Chuck in the chat says, "Is it a conditional pick?" I think it's just a straight up. I haven't heard anything about conditional. Could be wrong, but I think it's just a straight up 3rd round pick is what it sounds like to me. So. Let's see anybody else have. I thought there was. Here we go, Coach Lynn. I think it's a bit rich for Geno. So Coach Lynn's saying they maybe overpaid a little bit to get Geno Smith. So I can understand all the different stances. I really can, man. Mike Hebring with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He says 3rd for Geno, but wants a 1 and a 3 for DK. Come on, yeah. It's interesting, man. It's very interesting that you're willing to take a 3rd round pick for your starting quarterback, but you're putting out there on the market, hey, I want to say their number 1 receiver, but he really isn't their number 1 receiver. That's JSN. Mm-hmm. So it's like, however you want to look at DK, asking a 1st and a 3rd, listen, that's the starting point, right? And when it comes to Geno, honestly, Mike, the more I think about it as we're sitting here and reading your super chat, and I appreciate you, man. It kind of feels like to me, Emilio, that the Raiders reached out to them on this one. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Geno would be like,
Pete said, "I need my guy." You think he just kind of went up to him and was like, "Hey, look, Brady, you're bringing me in here, man. I need a QB I can work with."
Yeah, and I bet Pete and the guys, they called up and they said, "Hey, man, we'd like to trade for Geno." They're like, "Yeah, whatever. You're not taking our starting quarterback." So we'll give you a 3rd. Sold. Get him out of here. You know what I mean?
That's crazy though. Like who is going to play for Seattle at this point? Like is
right.
Aaron Rodgers going up there to Seattle? Not happening. Move Russell, maybe he's going to circle all the way back and head back there. I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah. 2-0 for this says, I like to think deals like this get done over Snapchat. So there you go. I can see it. Yeah. So again, Geno Smith is going to be a Raider. We got a little bit of Packers news. And for anyone who's keeping count, that is super chat number 2. So Emilio, we've got to honor it. If we get to 10 super chats, we got to do that all.
That's fair.
You guys know it, same as last night. I kind of hope we don't hit the goal. But
yeah, we said that last time, and then it got blistered, and it was just over.
They were like, "Oh yeah, let's just ruin Clayton's stuff." Yeah, real quick. So this is at MZENITZ. I guess it's Matt Zenitz on Twitter. I guess he was the one who broke this news. It's the first I've heard of it. Hopefully it's legit. It seems like it is. It says sources tell at CBS Sports, at 24/7 Sports, the Green Bay Packers are hiring Jeff Kuhns as a member of their defensive staff. He worked for West Virginia the last 6 years, including as interim defensive coordinator last season before West Virginia coached linebackers at Ole Miss. So you guys know we're kind of looking for that linebacker coach since Coach Camp left, right? I wonder if this is the guy that they might be hiring to fill that void. And just a little bit about him. I won't read the whole bio. I'll give you a couple paragraphs here. I know y'all love it when I read online. Jeff Kuhns is in his 5th year of the Mountaineer. Obviously, this was last year, I believe. Mountaineer coaching staff. He was named defensive coordinator on October 29th for the remainder of the 2024 season. He has served as a special teams coordinator and the inside linebackers coach since 2020. In 2023, the punt return defense once again had a stellar year, ranking number 5 nationally, giving up an average of 0.23 yards per return. West Virginia ranked number 27 in net punting, averaging 40.8 yards, and number 39 in punt returns, averaging 10.23 yards per return, and returned 1 for a touchdown against UNC in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. The Mountaineers were responsible for 3 blocked field goal attempts last season, ranking number 10 nationally, which included 2 to seal the win at TCU. So it kind of sounds like Jeff Kuhns, this hire by Green Bay, got a little bit of special teams background there too, right? So I'm interested to see if he just takes over at backer or what, but they obviously seen something. It just, I don't know, man, it just kind of feels like this is off the wall, right, out of left field. But
I think that's how they're keeping us on the toes, Clay. Honestly, the fact that, hey, we're going to go out and get a defensive coordinator, hey, it ends up be Hafley. we're going to go out. And last year we were so excited about all the, the talent that we brought in that had all the experience and everything. And I love that. But again, at some point you got to give, maybe a young guy a shot. We're young at the team. Let's get that energy in here. Get him up here. He played coached at Ole Miss too. So, maybe he's seen some talent come through there as well. It could have been, anyone like Walter Nolan type talent. I was trying to pull through our board and see who on defense we had from West Virginia. The best West Virginia players, obviously Wyatt Malum, the offensive tackle. There is an O lineman down in the 500s, a cornerback, Garnett Hollis Jr. He's in the 400s, 80s. Sean Martin is a D lineman, 470s. There's a long snapper for Greg Rice, who I know is not here, but Austin Brinkman, long snapper, he's at 435, and then just a safety, Aubrey Burks. So not too much talent coming across, but I think he's bringing a lot more than, energy, scheme, ideas, different. You got to bounce off ideas from somebody else once in a while.
Absolutely. And a young coach, I think that's important too. You can connect with the players a little bit more there. Jay Cole says new linebackers coach ? That's where his background is, but it wasn't announced like that. It just said, defensive assistant, right? I mean, defense, It just says defensive staff. Maybe that is the plan, Jay. That would make the most sense, but it could be, didn't we lose our special teams assistant to somebody like Jacksonville or somebody? Am I thinking right?
I think
so.
Right.
That this kind of fits the bill of maybe he steps into that void to help Rich Bisaccia, seeing that Rich Bisaccia is the assistant.
And it could always kind of be like that Bill Belichick thing where we're bringing him on as a defensive assistant and someone wants him back. And all right, we're just going to promote him to linebackers coach, or we're going to, pop him up a level. So you always got to try to be ahead in that scenario.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, moving on to the next news of the day here. So we got the details of the Brandon McManus contract here. And I just said Russ Ball and Goody cooked here. Here are the cap charges, the cap hits for Brandon McManus. In 2025, $3.49 million against the cap. In 2026, it jumps to 5.3, and then in 2027, it jumps to 6.2. Now, obviously, we always say if it's a 3-year deal, it's really a 2-year deal, right? Mm-hmm. If it's a 4-year deal, it's really a 3-year deal. That's typically how the NFL works. So, seeing that you can get out of the majority of that 6.2 in year 3, really, really like the way they structured this, man. Also put note, the cap charges are calculated based on the 11 games McManus played in last season, therefore not counting all $500,000 of his possible per game bonuses if he plays in all 17 games. And this was obviously reported first that I've seen by Rob Domofsky, who laid out all the details there. In 2025, the signing bonus will be $5 million. Base salary, $1.4 million per game, roster bonus of up to $500,000, which would basically be, if he's active, $29,412 per game. Workout bonus is going to be $100K. Total cash paid up front is going to be $7 million. In 2026, the base salary jumps to $2.1 million. The roster bonus is $1 million. And then the per game roster bonus up to $500K. Workout bonus $100K again. Total cash $3.7 million. In 2027, it looks like the base salary jumps to $4 million. So, Amelia, I don't know about you, man, but I think this is great news. We got our kicker for the next 2 years, and I think he's going to win. He's going to win us ball games. I believe that, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, he done it last year, so I'm not really not worried about it. I think we were saying that all the end of last year. At least you were, I were. When he comes up to kick, I'm really not worried. We were sitting on the edge of our seat first 6 weeks. I mean, it was brutal. At this point, it's like, all right, it's going to go in. If he misses it, no big deal. Like, I'm not mad at the dude for how well he performed. I think that it's huge that we got him signed. One less thing that we got to worry about in the offseason. We were stressing about it all last year. What's Anders going to do? Who we bringing in? Joseph, competition, this, that. Like, let's just hammer something down and move on. We got somebody that works. We got Wheelan. That room is solid. If you want a new long snapper, fine. But I'm not mad at that. I think it's good money, and let's just take care of it. And especially after looking at what happened to Tucker. The guy got paid a lot of money, didn't kick well. So I'm happy we found him.
Again, and I want to go on the record right now, just like I did last year. As soon as the season wrapped up, I wanted McManus back, and I want to be on the record saying I am not expecting him to kick 95%.
Right.
Not expecting that.
Right.
You give me 85% money well spent.
Shoot, we were happy with 70, 60. I'm pretty sure I was like, yeah, if Anders kicks like 40%, I'll be happy. I'm like, and the fact that we hammered that out and just smoothed it right out is perfect.
Yeah, no doubt. Prince in the chat, kicker talk for free. Remember this day, boys. It ain't ever happening again. All right. It ain't going to happen again. All right. Next on the docket, we got some exclusive rights free agents that have pretty much, I don't know if they've all signed yet, but I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time an exclusive rights free agent didn't sign the tender here, but the Packers are bringing back several players as exclusive rights free agents, most of which provide a significant depth in 2024. We'll just go right down the line, Emilio. We've hit on some of them already, but here's the complete list to the best of my knowledge. I think we only had 6 available. We signed all 6, but safety, Zane Anderson, we talked about him at the end of the year. Stepped up big, man. I think it makes me feel really, really good knowing that if one of our safeties go down, if Evan Williams or Xavier McKinney goes down, Zane Anderson's probably going to step in before they would pull Javon Bullard out of the slot and put him back at safety.
Or bring in Oladapo. Yeah, I mean, I think he played himself some snaps this next year. You know, you keep that going in preseason. I think that that's a screaming deal. That's a clearance rag deal for $1 million. Bring him back.
Yeah. Next, you got wide receiver Bo Melton. I seen some people
cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
I seen some people reporting on Twitter like Bo Melton didn't sign or didn't get tagged, and I'm like, really? They didn't tag Bo? Evidently, he did because I'd seen multiple sources that had Bo Melton listed here as well. So obviously, he may not have signed it yet, but Bo Melton is also going to be getting the exclusive rights free agent. Most of I think this is awesome, dude. Bo Melton watching. I actually showed a clip earlier today, right? And it was that screen pass to Emmanuel Wilson at the game we went to, Emilio, down in Nashville.
Yep.
And if you watch that screen pass, they did the little F zipper orbit, right? And sure enough, that F zipper orbit, guess who it was? It was Bo. So they had Bo playing F on that specific play. That's something I went, oh, okay. So
they hit him with that yo-yo. That's what happened.
That's exactly right. As we got made fun of course. So King Tron with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Says, boys, as always, thank you for all you do. I seriously love a little breakdown on who is available on the market as far as D tackle and edge. Thanks, y'all. Yeah, we will let us finish this up right here. I'll keep this on the screen and maybe we can dive into the free agents and just give you guys an update. And the chat can chime in. Emilio, you can do it as well and remind me of who's on the trade block, and we'll just kind of break each of them down a little bit. But thank you for the super chat there, Tron. We'll keep it up so I don't forget in my old age here. Next, you got defensive end or edge defender Aaron Mosby. He's going to be back as an exclusive rights free agent. Tackle Kadeem Telfort. He'll be back. Of course, punter Daniel Whelan. Let's go, dude. You kidding me? And go ahead and set yourself up with a 3-year extension there. Let's go ahead and get that on the books and out of the way. I want him to be my punter for the foreseeable future for sure. And, of course, we talked about running back Emmanuel Wilson, graded out as a top 10 running back according to PFF, if I remember correctly. So I like all these guys, man. And this is Goody being Goody right here, just finding these dudes and obviously plugging them in as you go.
Right. And, I mean, having that, you need to have a floor. You need to have some sort of baseline of talent that you have. Mosby got some burn. Bo got some burn. Kadeem didn't get as much, but – came in strong when my boy TG had a little hiccup there in the playoffs. And then Daniel Whelan, we need him. Emmanuel was lights out, top 10 running back last year. So it's that almost all no-brainers, right? Let's bring these guys back and let's see what we can do with them. No point in letting them slide away.
Definitely. So, again, I think this is all good news that these guys will most likely be back, barring any kind of buck in the system there and not signing the exclusive rights tags there. So, all right, let's jump into what was asked here by King Tron about who is on the market. Let's just start with PFF here, man, and just kind of take a quick look. This is the PFF free agent page, all right? And listen, it's not going to have them all on here, but let's just kind of go by position. As Tron asked, defensive tackle and edge is what he's interested in. So let's start with defensive tackle. And these may not be updated yet, okay? Just keep that in mind. Like, obviously, right. This first one here, he re-signed with Dallas, right? Osa re-signed with Dallas. Yeah. So he's off the market. Milton Williams will be available, okay? His PFF grades, and again, these are defensive tackles. His PFF grades 72, 70, and 76 last year. His projected contract is 3 years, $21 million per year, $40 million guaranteed with the $63 million total deal there. Emilio, my question to you is, would you like to sign Milton Williams for $21 million per.
That's a negative for me. I mean, I love that he has that that skill, that age group. But DJ was talking, he's going to get paid, dude. He's going to get the bag. It's not like there's a lot of D tackles that are going to slip away. But you have the potential to find that kind of talent in the draft, in this deep D-line draft. That's just a little steep for me. We tried it. I'd rather, start cheap, see if we can find a freak and go from there rather than kind of chase another Kenny route.
Yeah. Up next, Detroit Lions defensive lineman here, Levi.
How old is Enrique?
All right. 2 years, $8.25 million per. So just a $10 million guaranteed, $16.5 million total is the projected contract here. His PFF grades 68.5 and 70.2 last year.
I could almost see him going back, though. I could see him going back to the Lions. I don't see them losing that again.
Yeah. We got Tim joining us now. Tim, we're just answering a super chat here and just kind of walking through the market real quick, as obviously we're just a couple of days away, really about 48 hours away from free agency completely opening up. How was your day, man? You doing all right?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Better late than ever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Glad you jumped in. It's a pleasant surprise. Next, you got B.J. Hill. He's the 53rd ranked free agent according to PFF. His projection, 2 years, $10.25 million per year. 12. What's happened there? I love it when random videos just start playing on my computer. That's absolutely awesome. So B.J. Hill is looking at roughly a $10 million per on 2 years, $12 million guarantee, which essentially just means it's a 1 year, $12 million contract with a club option. So is really what that is saying there. So PFF grades 68, 67, and 70. Would you be willing, boys, to pay $10 million for B.J. Hill? $10 million per year.
Meh.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the meh because you're going to take snaps away from whoever you draft there. Right? And who knows, man, it may fall into place that you end up getting a stud 3-tech in the first round. And if you've already, signed a guy like B.J. Hill to $10 million per, you're going to feel obligated to play him over that young whippersnapper. And you want those guys to get as many snaps as you can. Now, somebody like Calais Campbell,
here's the guy.
If he somehow does it again, guys, this dude's 38 years old. Yep. And his PFF grade was 82.3. The year before, 80. The year before that, 76. Like, he's getting better as he gets ready to draw Social Security here. This is just unbelievable. 1 year, $3 million. I don't believe that's accurate. That's just my personal opinion. I think he'll get a little more than that. But I would welcome Calais Campbell with open arms for anything less than $10 million. Like, come on in here, dude. Mm-hmm. And help this interior defensive line. That's one, if you're going to get in the range of top 10, top 5 defensive tackle, that's worth taking reps away from a young guy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And even though, his snap count's a little fluctuating, numbers really only going up. His WAR ranking so it was 0.17 from 2022, 2023, and then went up to 0.21. Grades just climbing ever since. I'm not mad at that. Take one shot at him, give him just, we don't need him to play 600 snaps either. You know what I mean? Let's get him at 400 or 500, get him comfy and, run him into, if he wants to play that like that, run him into the ground in the playoffs when you're making your run. I mean, that's how you got to do it.
Tim, you would be all right with this, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all things being considered about the age and, all those things, this guy makes his team better. You look back at his Arizona days, the time he spent in Jacksonville, Baltimore, like he's kind of a journeyman now because he's getting up there. He's pushing 40, right? But he's the kind of guy that's he's gonna pick up that D-line group no matter what. And, I don't care if he's not playing, 50 snaps a game anymore. It doesn't matter. I think he brings a little stability. And like you said, if you can get him for, for kind of the cheap, for lack of a better term, I say go ahead and do it. I mean, I think it can do more good than harm at this point, bringing a guy like that in for a sweetheart deal,
Great locker room.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. I was just gonna say we'd still be super young as a defense, even just by adding him. You know what I mean? It's not like it's gonna rip down that number that we all love being, young and athletic, but having that talent, having that experience is what we need.
Yep.
Yeah, I like what Too Old for This says too. I'd love Calais Campbell. I like the youth movement, but youth for the sake of youth is meaningless. Bring in some older guys. I could not agree more. It's like we get so angry with this team for making mistakes, right? And it's they're young, they got to grow. They're young, they got to grow. And then the second that someone mentions, hey, let's bring in a veteran, an aging veteran, it's, well, he's too old. Hell, we're saying that about the draft. We got fans that are literally looking at 24-year-olds going, well, he's too old to draft.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
right.
so how did that work with Bo Nix last year? That was one of the knocks on him was he's an older rookie, right? He's played college football for quite some time, stepped right in there with Sean Payton and took off, right?
Yep.
I think there's some value to that as well. So, Jaron Reed, obviously we don't chew our backer twice around here. It's looking like he's going to get $6 million per. He was the other cat that walked into the steakhouse in Green Bay that night when we were all hanging out in there. So he seemed like a good dude, but no offense there, Jaron. We don't want you back here. You're going to do just fine somewhere else. Poona Ford, this one's interesting, man. Poona Ford, 29 years old. All right. He obviously played for the Chargers last year. The projected contract is 1 year, $3.5 million with just $1.5 million guaranteed. Now, most of his career, you can see here, 56.6, 59.3, but last year, 85.3 on 652 snaps. I would totally be okay with taking a flyer on him. Worst case scenario, he doesn't make the team in camp and you just eat $1.5 million in dead cap. You know what I mean? But if he goes into camp and you're like, this dude's the real deal, he's picking up where he left off last year, you might get to steal a free agency. And who knows, the contract may warrant more than that by the time it's all said and done. But what do you guys think about Poona Ford? Am I off base here with that one? You're muted, Emilio. I was like, dang, I pissed him off.
No, you're definitely right. That's on me. No, I'm not mad at that. I think that, for a clearance rag deal, we have a little bit of money to play with. We added another $20 million just for fun, basically, just because of the TV deal. So it's like, why would you be mad at throwing, a couple bucks here and there just to see if you can find someone to break that D line free? And that's, if that's a breakout year for him, awesome. But you got to, you're also, a lot of it's projecting draft and players now. He was 56 PFF grade back in 2022, had an 85 this past year. Is that 85 going to carry? Like Clay's saying, I think that it could. And that's something you got to take a risk on once in a while. You never know.
And even if he hits somewhere in the middle, right? Like even if he grades out in the mid 70s or something, and you catch a good deal on him, I think it's astounding to look at the grades in the last 2 years. I mean, obviously he was injured last year a little bit, missed a lot of snaps, but to make that jump 59 to 85, you figure what's the happy medium? Somewhere north of 70. I'll take it, especially for the cheap,
Definitely. All right, next we got Tershawn Wharton from Kansas City. Looks like 2 years, $8.2 million, so $9 million guaranteed for a total of $16.5 million over 2 years. PFF not kind to him, 55, 58, 60. I'd say I'd pass on that one. Tier Tart, I hope I'm saying that correctly. 1 year, $2.5 million for the 28-year-old. That's somebody that's interesting. 73.1. Then he dropped to a 54. Last year, he rebounded to a 78, albeit just 378 snaps. That might be some extra depth there for sure. It says
Yep, I was just going to say that could be another jump-off piece. Take a chance on him.
Yeah, and again, if it's $1.25 million guaranteed, eat that dead cap. If it didn't work out by the time camp breaks, and you got somebody you like better than him, no big deal. DJ Jones, another one here, 2 years, $9 million. PFF 63, 56, and 67 were his PFF grades at 30 years old. I'd say no there. So we'll just stop at the top 100. Those are the defensive tackles that were mentioned in the top 100. So the ones that kind of grabbed my attention: Tart, maybe take a flyer on. Poona Ford, maybe take a flyer on. And then Calais Campbell. If that price is real, shoot, yeah, I'd fully guarantee it. I would, and that's what it looks like. The whole thing would be guaranteed. So, I think that's it. So
I like those. I like those three. Absolutely. One of them you have, proven talent with age and, experience. The other two you're taking a little bit of a flyer on, maybe like a Campbell move, bring in a Rasul type idea and see if they can't explode.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving on to the edge defenders here. This one right off the bat, you guys know this is my guy. If you say Clayton, you can only sign one player in free agency this year. It's between him and Chris Godwin. That's just
Clayton, though. Are the Chargers in a pinch now that they got rid of Bosa and that they need an edge rusher? I mean, are they going to overpay Mac now?
It kind of feels like to me their plan was let Bosa go and bring back Mac. Now, we're coming down to the wire here. We're just like we said, about roughly 48 hours away, from everything popping off. So if the deal's going to get done, it's got to get done quick, Tim. I know this. If you could bring in Khalil Mack 2 years, $22 million per, throw on maybe 2 or 3 avoidable years to keep the cap number down and pay it later. And that way you can continue to get the other pieces you need in place if you do fall in love with a Chris Godwin or someone else in free agency. Khalil Mack, man, opposite of Rashawn Gary, it's music to my ears. You do that, and then you go take one of these 3 techs, which we know the draft is real heavy with 3 techs this year. I think you could really revamp that defensive line. And what do you think, Tim?
I agree, but sources say that Khalil Mack is open to a reunion with the Bears. I've heard murmurings.
Oh.
I don't have to name sources, right? This is line season.
Definitely
I can
not.
just say sources say Khalil Mack is
Damn, breaking news.
Khalil Mack is not opposed to rejoining the I'll just say it's Friday night, the Chicago Bears.
It is Friday night, Tim.
So if that happens, here's my question, or if that's true, if that's actually substantiated and it's a fact, are you willing to get into a bidding war with the Bears to ensure that maybe we get our hands on him before they do?
I'll tell you this. Every team's got a number on a player, right? That, hey, this is the max we would go for him. I would like to see him get into a bidding war, even if Chicago gets him. Jack that price up on him, baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I'd feel about it. So I don't know. What would be the top number you would pay for Khalil Mack for 1 to 2 years per? You know what I'm saying? Like what would it be, Emilio? Because they've got him listed at $22.5 million. Okay. Now, some people were saying the calculated market value is $27 million, right? What do you think would be the max that you would pay for Khalil Mack? Be honest too. We can disagree here, man.
I would say if we're gonna push it, I wouldn't want to go past 25. But it seems so steep. It really does when you could get like a Calais Campbell and have that kind of mentor, but you're not going to get that kind of talent. I mean, it's a
right.
Are you trying to pay up front with cash, or do you want to use the draft pick? I think I would still spend that. If we don't pull a couple flyers, we got $20 million from the TV deal. So I would just say it's a $5 million contract and run with it.
Absolutely. Shout out to King Tron here. Been a member for 2 months. Like, share, and sub for the boys. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you, Tron. Thank you so much. Yeah, and here's the other thing too. Like, you're going to take snaps away from LVN if you do this.
Yep.
That if the number gets so high and you got that in the back of your mind as well. Of course, we got the hockey line that we always talk about, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. Khalil is one that definitely grabs my attention for sure. Khalil Mack is. Josh Sweat is one I am not excited about, and I've seen several people were really, really excited about him. Like, hey, let's bring in Josh Sweat because of the Super Bowl performance there. His PFF grades, guys, 83. Then he dropped all the way to a 67, and then he barely climbed up to a 70. His projected value is 3 years at $18 million per. To me, that's the epitome of overpaying for good, not great. Now, we were just talking about Khalil Mack. I didn't mention his grades. 71 in 2022. Then he jumped all the way to a 91 PFF grade. And then last year he jumped, or he fell back just a touch, but still a 90.2 PFF grade. He was the 6th highest graded edge defender in 2023, and then the 5th highest graded edge defender in 2024. Josh Sweat, though, to me, man, that seems like that be overpaying a little bit there. I don't know how you guys feel about that one.
I would agree with that because it looks like if you scroll back up to K Mac there, it looks like he's getting better with age. Like He's like a fine wine. He's getting better with age and time. And, some of these other guys on the list look like they're already on the decline. So, Khalil Mack, I think Emilio's spot on, somewhere in that 25. Like anything under 30 mil is probably worth discussing, even if it's for the sake of driving the price up, right? Just so the Bears gotta pay more and find themselves in cap hell or whatever it is. So, I don't know. I think Khalil Mack looks better and better the more we scroll down this list, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
And Zacchaeus Earl said you can just skip past Hashan Reddick here. He did nothing last year, held out half the season just to come back and do nothing at all. Go ahead, Emilio.
Yeah, I mean, and to Josh Sweat, I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think maybe, Goody'd probably be excited. Dude's what, 6'5", 265 at 27. Not terrible, but like Tim said, that fine wine up at the top, man, that's why they always put the most expensive bottles on the top shelf, so I'm totally fine with that.
Yep.
That's right. All right, so there's Hashan Reddick, 84 down to a 73, down to a 53 after holding out half the year. That's that's rough there. Next guy here obviously had no snaps in 2024, but that was Malcolm Kuntz. In 2022, only 68 snaps. In 2023, 501 snaps at 81.3 was his PFF rate. He's only 26 years old, but they're saying his market value is $18.7 million. It says if Kuntz hadn't suffered a season-ending knee injury before the 2024 season began and instead carried over his momentum from the back half of 2023, he could have been squarely within the top 10 of our list. Perhaps the silver lining, if there is one, to getting injured so early in the year is that Kuntz should be healthier entering the free agency period than if he got hurt during the season. A short-term deal where Kuntz can hit the market again in 2026 or sign an extension 1 year into a 2-year deal. Let's see, recent edge defenders like Uchenna Nwasu could make sense. So obviously he's coming off a knee injury, but 2023 looked like the real deal there. What do you guys think about Malcolm Kuntz here? Looked like he played for Vegas in 2024 as he got hurt there.
I still just think it's crazy that dudes are pulling that kind of money at the edge rusher position. No wonder Goody's trying to pull the trigger in the draft. You know what I mean? If you can hit on an edge rusher in the draft, the fact that you wouldn't have to drop 20 million per year for basically any of these guys, I'd really like to do that instead of this. But yeah, if we had a chance at him, I'm not mad, but he's got coming back off an injury. I think that's a little tough.
Yeah, Prince in the chat here, Tim, says, tell Campbell and Mac that tapioca pudding is served every Wednesday at Lambeau right before bingo starts, and they'll come running. So, there you go. I love it. I remember the bingo nights when I was a kid, man. That was a big thing back home. There wasn't a whole lot to do in Kentucky, so the parents would get together at the bingo parlor. And, man, I remember trying to find Mom through all the smoke in there. Everybody smoking those Pall Malls. They had the best hot dogs on the face of the earth, man. They were the cheapest hot dogs you ever eat in your life. But it's the good old days, man.
I love it. So in other words, Prince is saying Campbell and Mac are old dogs, right?
I think that's what he's saying. Yeah.
Back in my day, we played with leather helmets and no pads at all.
It's wild to think though, like Baron Browning here, right? He's the 40th ranked free agent, and his grades are trash. 55, 74, 58. Like, why is he, you know what I'm saying? Why is he ranked so high? Now, his projected contract, that reflects, the grades at 1 year, $6 million. But I don't understand. I can't figure out PFF how they'll have low grades on a player and then have them ranked high on a draft board or on a free agent rank. It's just wild. Dayo Odeyingbo. I think I got it. PFF grades 62, 56, 66. 4 years, $16.5 million. What am I missing? What am I missing here?
It's just so much money. That's what I'm saying. I think when you start to do these kind of deep dives, the picture gets a little bit clearer. Like obviously Goody's trying to hit on an edge, so you don't have to pay $20 million in free agency. Let's try to save up, $4 million. You find someone that's a winner, you pay him. We found Rashawn, we paid him. We got to find somebody else that we need to pay on the edge. If it's this year, if it's LVN, whoever it is, that's where I'd almost be, maybe we need to go back to D line and see if the interior is worth paying. I have no idea.
Right. Moving along here, Chase Young, he's been talked about a lot, right? 2 years, $17.5 million is his projected with $20 million guaranteed. So it's essentially a 1 year, $20 million deal is his projected value. 25 years old, going to be 26 soon. 78.4, only on 114 snaps, and he dropped to a 74.7 on 891 snaps. Then he dropped all the way to a 66.4 on 740 snaps. Seeing that the main talking point on Chase Young is he takes plays off for $17.5 million, can't do it, can't have it. You disagree with that, fellas, or any?
Nope.
You make a
No,
case for it.
I'm completely fine with passing on that, dude. You don't want someone quitting on you. You got the guys looking to the left and the right. It's not how that Halfley has built that defense, I don't think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you hit it last night, Clayton. You said something's got to be there. There's got to be something there for him to be that young and working his way through the league already. Multiple staffs. There's something there.
It's almost like they're all saying, let's take a flyer on. Then he gets there and they go, okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and move along.
Yep.
There's something.
Cash the check, show up for work, punch the clock, go home. Yeah.
Right. DeMarcus Lawrence is interesting. He's going to be 33 years old. 2 years, $7.5 million per, right? They got him listed as an edge defender. I think at one point he played a little 3-tech, but it was in a kind of a NASCAR type package, I believe. So 2022 is 73.9. In 2023, he jumped all the way to a 91. And then last year, he only played 167 snaps. You got to kind of throw that out. But it says Lawrence was lost for the season in week 4, but not before racking up 3 sacks, a forced fumble, 4 tackles for a loss, and 5 more quarterback hits through just 1 month. Damn. So, the veteran is a disruptive force on all 3 downs when healthy, but a Liz Frank injury to the foot could lead to a tricky free agency period. For $7.5 million, and they're saying $8 million guaranteed, You've got to be willing to take a bath with that $8 million, But man, if he the fact that he had a 56.8 but had that type of production before he got hurt, I don't understand that. But if he's
he was in a Dan Quinn defense in Dallas in 2023.
That's a good point.
So that may explain the resurgence there.
And that year they played a lot of man coverage, I'm pretty sure too, Tim. So one of those top players there. Terms of an edge defender.
Yeah. I wouldn't. That $7 million isn't bad. I was pulling up his 23 grade, so he was the 91.3 overall. He had an 80.3 pass rush and a 92.4 run defense. He was second in edge rushers that year in run defense. So that's not a bad one for that price. Besides Khalil Mack, I think I'm second on Lawrence there.
Got it. Matthew Judah. I'm just kind of glancing through to see if there's any of these other guys that we would be interested in. Man, Josh Uche dropped off the face of the planet. Oh, God. 83.1 in 2022 and then a 57.54. Derek Barnett, didn't he just sign? I'm thinking, did he? No, that's somebody else I'm thinking of. Anyway, Derek Barnett played for Houston last year. They're saying projection $4.2 million. He had pretty good production there in 2023, 82.4 and then dropped to a 74.2. Might be somebody to think about. That's pretty much it in the top 100. We had a question here from Coach Lynn. Read that off for me there, Emilio. I'm going to see if I can pull up.
We were talking about this pre-show, Clayton. I was asking you about. The Athletic podcast was talking about the Packers trading for Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati. That's
interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah. Now he wears no gloves, right? He's got the no gloves, long sleeve look, right?
Reggie White, baby, let's go.
Yeah, no gloves, white long sleeve look. He plays hard. He does. I think they were talking about possibly a third or a second for him.
Mm-hmm.
Second's a little rich for me, but if we worked out a third trade, we got Malik for 7th, the third for an edge rusher instead of $22 million. Maybe they carry some of the cap. We work out a deal with that. That's a possibility.
Yeah, and here's the PFF grades, guys. Starting in 2017, 61, 65, 68, 70, 73, 82, 82, 88. He's gotten better every year.
Yep.
Every year. And he led the league in sacks last year. I think it was 16.5, right? Mm-hmm. I want to say he's carrying over somewhere around $17 million in cap hit. Would I be willing to trade a second-round pick for the NFL sack leader to line up opposite of Rashawn Gary? I think I would, boys. I think I would. That's to me, and again, he's 30 years old, so you'd be unrealistic to think he's not going to decline moving forward. So you got to take that into account with the next contract. But for me, man, I don't know. I think I would be on board with a second. I wouldn't have a problem with it. Third, run it up there. You kidding me?
Yeah, sure.
So,
I feel better about that than the same or similar scenario for a DK Metcalf, which has been discussed ad nauseum. Auctioning the franchise for a guy like that. I think Hendrickson would be probably a better look here. And like you said, even with him, getting older and possibly falling off, look at the numbers. Like, what is that fall off really going to be? Is it going to be that significant? Maybe he's a veteran that can kind of bridge that, 1 to 3 year gap as you develop these other guys on your defense,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great point. Anything else you want to add to that talk there, Emilio?
My only pushback would be, if we're mad at giving up a third for him and we have to pay him or something, if it pans out and we get that edge rusher, perfect. That's what we were looking for. He's 30 going on or 31, and climbing. Khalil Mack, we were going to pay him $22 million to come over at 35. So it's what is the difference? Where's that cutoff? The dude produces. If everybody is happy and wants sacks, he'd probably break 100 when he's here, right? So that would that's what, if that's what you're asking for, that's what you get.
Yeah. That's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate it.
We are closing in 1, 2.
I know it. It's happening. It's happening.
Get ready to go.
Mr. Jass in the chat here with the super chat. Hugh Jass said $2
one Hugh Jass.
Yeah.
$2 for Hugh Jass. Okay. It's a JASS. Don't at me. All right. Jake Shavink said close to that Mike Graff super chats, fellas.
We are 6 out of 10 currently.
Yeah, we're closing in on. While you were talking, Emilio, I seen the super chats coming in. I went ahead and got it ready just in case we did.
Get ready to go.
I can't bring with the super chat. See you, buddy. He says it's Trey Hendrickson or bust for me, fellas. Hey,
yep.
He's right up there. Now he's not Myles Garrett, and I know Mike's not saying that. Out of everyone who's been mentioned this year in potential trades, Myles Garrett 1, Trey Hendrickson 2. Now, with that being said,
hopefully Myles Garrett's meeting with ownership goes well and they let him go. But
it's
fingers crossed on that one.
Listen, I'm from Tennessee. I am familiar with the Haslam family. They will screw this up somehow, They will completely botch this. If you don't believe me, go. What was it? The Pilots? Is that what it was down here in the South, Emilio? That they just do this. Just Google search the name Haslam lawsuit and pour you a drink. All right, enjoy the ride. Mike Hebring with the super chat. Yeah, with Trey Hendrickson. Here's what I was going to say. If you give me the choice of you can have Khalil Mack in a 1 or a 2 year deal or trade a second or a third round pick for Trey Hendrickson, I'm probably choosing Khalil Mack. Yeah. But it's close because Trey Hendrickson, the production, you cannot. Now, here's the thing. Cincinnati's defense, way different than what Green Bay did last year. That's fair. You think Trey Hendrickson's just going to step into this defense and it's going to take Jeff Hafley adjusting how he runs his pass rush. That's what it would take. Because those boys, they're not worried about the run. They're pinning the ears and going. That's what they're doing. And that is not what Green Bay did last year. So I
feel like Khalil Mack would be less of a progress stopper for some of the other edge guys too, right? Because he's more of a rotational dude. He's not going to play, 60 snaps a game.
And on the tail end of the career, Tim, whereas, maybe Trey, you could get another 4, 5 years out of him if you wanted to instead of 1 or 2.
Right. Exactly.
And the thing with Trey, too, is he's seeking a new deal. So if you lock Trey into a 3 or 4 year deal, and then all of a sudden after this year he falls off as he, gets closer to 31 or 32, you're stuck with some dead cap as opposed to Khalil Mack is just kind of a pay for the service and move on type thing, is what it feels like anyway. But yeah, Mike, I understand exactly where you're coming from. And Trey Hendrickson was a dog last year. Yep. Another super chat here, 2-0 for this anti-mock super chat. 2-0 for this. That ain't how it works, bro. So
Appreciate the support.
yeah, thanks for thinking about me here. But
Heard it from a fan right here.
all right, let's see what else we got here.
Just got
The
one more.
sports report. You're not getting Mock or not getting Mac. Oh, okay, got it. So the sports report. He must be. Is he a Chargers fan? Sports report. Put in the chat. Who are you a fan of, buddy? The fact that he
Probably
said
the
you're
Chargers.
not getting. It's got to be.
Maybe that's Tim's Chicago source coming in and saying you're not getting Mac. He's coming back. He's coming back to the city, Windy City.
Sports report didn't even realize he literally just contributed to a mock draft.
Sports report just got us to
Yeah.
seven
Yeah,
out
right.
of 10. He just
You know what, though? He does bring up kind of a good point, because when it's all said and done, I'm probably not going to be that shocked if K-Mac ends up a Charger again. You know,
No,
I mean,
it makes all the
they
sense.
just let go of Bosa, and you know, maybe they pay him. You know,
Okay.
so this could be a big nothing burger, but let us dream, right? We can dream.
Definitely. Zakai, and again, Sports Report, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Let us know who you're a fan of. You guys, if you see it come through, let me know. Zakai Searle says, am I the only one that prefers a corner in the first round over an edge rusher or a D tackle? We need both, but I just don't feel comfortable with Nixon being our cornerback one, unfortunately. I understand the concern there, Zakai. I do. I'm
We
pretty big
talked
on
about corner going early, right? We got to go
Mhm.
early with corner in the draft if you want, you know, any of the top tier guys. So it's a legitimate point.
I'm totally on board with going corner with the first round pick if the board lines up. What I'm not okay with is reaching for a corner. But Emilio, tell everybody what you texted me earlier today. You were listening to DJ earlier today. What did he say about? Wasn't it about corners that he mentioned? Am I thinking right, or was that a different position?
Yep, that one. Pull it up. Yeah, so he was talking.
When we say DJ, we're talking about Daniel Jeremiah, former scout for the Baltimore Ravens. He played quarterback at Appy State. He's now the NFL draft expert for NFL Network.
Right. He said his first guy around. He is our top 3 scout. He's one of our head scouts on our board. You know, that's how we break it down. So, you know, we got to take what he says, you know, and learn from it. He was saying that his first year in Baltimore when he was a scout, that O-line, and he was told by Ron, I forgot the last name, but his coach, he said, he called him Coach Ron. He said, you always need to bump O-line and corners a level. You're always going to need to bump them a level from what you think that they are, where they will be taken, because you'll always miss, or else you'll never get them. You'll always miss them if not. So, I mean, that's something that we've kind of talked about a little bit, but thinking about corners, I mean, we've talked about safeties. We've talked about, center being a tier 2, but it's right. I mean, after he said that, then he started talking. He goes, you're not going to find a starting left tackle in the 30 spot if you're looking at a board in the first round. You know, Will Campbell's going to go because he's syrup and all he does is pancake people, and Mimbo's going to go because he's a dog. And there's your 2 starting tackles, right? Then you're fiddling around trying to figure out who's going to rotate, who's going to fit in. I think it's just something we have to keep in mind if we can try to chase that down.
Yeah, and I will say this. It is worth noting, though, when Daniel Jeremiah was a scout for them a long time ago.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So we got to mention that. But that's the first time I'd ever heard anybody say that they're considering corner and offensive line one tier higher than their current tier. The only position that I do that with, and I don't adjust our draft board, but I always mention during the draft on our draft specials when we go live for the draft every year, is when a quarterback is within reach and they may be 1 or 2 tiers down, you've got to start treating them like they're a top tier talent right then, because teams will reach. It's that important. So it was really interesting that I'm glad you shared that, Emilio. I am.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So, and again, what podcast was that? So everybody can check out that podcast.
That was Move the Sticks with DJ and Bucky Brooks. It could have been he had another. I think it was with Greg. He had another one. It was 40s. Let me see. Here, you talk. I'll pull it up real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the reason I asked about the podcast is because Move the Sticks podcast I've been listening to for. I don't want to exaggerate here. I think it's over 10 years now. They've been doing a pod. Like I want to say it was 2012 or 2013 when I started listening to them. So it's been a long time that Daniel Jeremiah has been doing that pod, and especially around draft time, they'll pull up their old scouting reports and they'll say this guy was a hit. This was a hit. They'll call it hit and misses. This was a guy we hit on with our scouting report. Okay, he ended up being great. He'll read off the scouting report, tell you what year he was in the draft, and then he allows, I think, Bucky Brooks to try to guess who the prospect was. That's the type of stuff you get there. That's where I learned about the Red Star. I'd never heard about the Red Star before, where they would, in Baltimore, they would have the scouts get up there and you got one red star. You put it on the player that is your dude in this draft. You're going to stand on the table. If I had to pick one guy out of this draft that I like the most, it could be a first-round guy. It could be a seventh-round guy. But this is the dude that's like, man, where he's going to go, he is really worth it type guy. And they would put the red star up there. I had never heard that kind of talk before. You get that on the Move the Sticks podcast. For sure.
And so to that point, the podcast I was listening to, it's under Move the Sticks podcast, but it's a different one. I guess they're going to do it chasing the draft as it comes closer. It's called 40s and Free Agents, 2025 class versus free agents. It was Greg Rosenthal and DJ. I guess they don't get along. I don't really know the relationship, but he goes, so they like started talking, okay. And then they started, getting after each other a little bit. In a good way, in a banter way. But I think that's just, something that you got to take into account. Somebody that does it for a living. Dude sits there and just grinds tape. He's talked about, some days I'm at home, I'm sitting there, I'm in the living room all day. I don't like, me go over to the office. I'm going to go. He said one day he went downstairs and just set up a TV next to his kid while he was playing college football. And then that's when he put out his mock draft 2.0. And then his son was asking him if he had any like fire ones or anything that's going to stir the pot. And those are just some of the cool things you pick up. The other thing, like you were talking about, pulling up the old boards, he said this in another one the other day, was Cam Ward had the same grade as Bo Nix last year, which would have been 5th among all quarterbacks last year. That's where Cam Ward's ranking this year. And Sanders was behind Penix, which would have put him 7th in that list last year. But behind Penix this year.
Really, really interesting. What you're going to see on boards, Shedeur Sanders seems to be dropping. We're not going to drop him on our board because he's dropping on others. Now, we've already got the majority of our information in on Shedeur Sanders. There's no other info we'll get in other than Greg Cosell, which Greg Cosell's also mentioned. He hasn't been like over the moon. Today he made a positive comment about him.
Pocket passer is what I've heard from Greg Cosell. That's
playing within the system, right?
It's a scheme fit pocket passer or a fit quarterback pocket passer.
Definitely. Ron Sample with Super Chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, trade for Hendrickson and draft a receiver in the first round of our mock tonight. Appreciate the Super Chat, Ron.
We're not going to be able to, Ron, if we don't get 2 more. We're at 8 out of 10 right now. So
we're up against the gun here, too. We're at the 57-minute mark.
Yeah, you got probably 3 minutes.
Here's the thing. If we try to trade for Hendrickson, we're going to have to move hell and half of Georgia to do that during the mock. I like the idea to see what it would take, but they're wanting an all-offense mock draft, so we'll just stick with that if we do.
Yeah, I like that. That was cool.
Yeah, I like the idea, though. I wonder what it would take for Hendrickson, which I ain't going to lie, man. I was kind of surprised that it just came out that they would take a 2nd or a 3rd round pick.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to take more than that. But you could look at that one of two ways, right? You can look at it and go, oh, man, that ain't much. And then you look at it the other way and go, why are they not wanting that much? Is there something we don't know there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That kind of pops up in my mind, too. Ron, thank you for the Super Chat. I think we're close enough, boys. I think we're close enough. We're going to bend the rules.
We broke the last one.
Let's see. We got 1, Kingtron. Mike Hebrings 2, Kingtron 3, Huge Ass is 4, Mike Hebrings 5, 2-0 for this is 6, Sports Report 7, and Ron Sample's 8, right? So
yeah.
So we're well above
65%.
65%. That's what we. And as you guys know,
Kingtron gifted this one to J. Cole, that membership, so we could maybe walk the line there and count that, get us to 9.
That counts for sure. And again, I don't want anybody else to have to donate any money, so we'll just do it right now. All right, appreciate you guys and everything you do, man. Sports Report, I love that he paid $10 just to tell us shut the hell up and not get Khalil Mack. Gotta love it. All right, here we go. Let's do this. You ready to go?
PFF? We back to PFF?
There it is.
Back to PFF, Tim.
Chris C, man. You didn't have to do it. Chris C lost this one.
Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Oh,
look, Shavink's fired up. Let's go.
All right.
And Chet over here. Now he physically got us to 10 Super Chats to make sure that Clay wasn't going to back out.
Yeah. Get ready to go.
All right, here we go. So 7-round mock. Everybody has to be an offensive player, right? Emilio, do you have your board ready, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, I
Let's
do.
go, Emilio. 5-0 line and 2 receivers. Let's get it.
All right, let's crank this thing up.
I cannot believe we're about to build the biggest wall right now. I'm so
Get ready to go.
Packers are on the clock at number 23. There's no reason to do anything other than offense. And yes, I am putting quarterback up there. All right. So we're going to go all
Luther
of the
Burden.
offensive positions. Yeah, there's all kinds of. It is fun to do these type of exercises just to look at it from a different perspective, you know?
Does this mean we can take Jaden Higgins in the first round?
Exactly.
Tim's gonna
So-
wait.
Their top available is Luther Burden, the third wide receiver out of Missouri. We got Josh Simmons, tackle out of Ohio State, Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas, and then, of course, Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina, then Gray Zabel, Josh Connerly.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
just say if it's not Luther Burden, it's got to be Gray Zabel, just because he's a 5-way. You know, he's going to go all over. I know I'm not according to the board. I'm just saying according to all the stuff I'm listening to, the way DJ's been talking about him and his flexibility in playing 5. They said that if the Bears drafted Gray Zabel at 10, that he could basically upgrade any position on that line, no matter where they put him. So it's like that's the kind of guy the Packers would dive after.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you guys my opinion based off of our board, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And to me right now, it looks hands down, no question asked.
Yeah.
Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle at number 11, is the top guy. Are you seeing someone else here, Emilio, that I'm overlooking?
No.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So if we were to go off our board, we would go Kelvin Banks would be the top choice, tackle out of Texas. Then Josh Simmons, tackle out of Ohio State, will be next at 20. Then it would be Luther Burden, wide receiver out of Missouri, would be the third pick. Is that right, Emilio? Is that what you're showing?
Yes, sir. Yep, that's what I got.
So I'm going to allow the chat to take over here. And Tim, let's get your opinion. Who would you take here, man? Again, on our board, the best available will be Josh Simmons, then Kelvin Banks. Or actually, no, was it Kelvin Banks first?
Kelvin Banks, then Josh Simmons, then Luther Burden.
Luther Burden. So what do you think, Tim?
I like Gray Zabel. I'm
I sold him.
I'm gonna back Emilio up on this one. I do. The versatility factor, you know.
And here's where we got
our board. How far off would we be here?
He's 53rd on our board.
Okay, so that's a reach. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody goes, oh, that's way too low, Daniel Jeremiah had him at 48. Dane Brugler had him at 38. So it's still a reach either way you look at it right now. You know what I mean? And I know he did flash at the Senior Bowl, had a hell of a Senior Bowl. That's a good sign there. But yeah,
I'm between Banks and Zabel. Then
okay,
yeah,
right.
Yeah. If we're building this wall, bringing Calvin Banks, that dude is a freak. He'd probably be stepping inside. I think they're talking about him not being as true of a tackle, but can kind of play all over.
Yeah. So Jake Shavink said Loveland. So Loveland is still on the board. Is that right?
No, he was just saying that at the beginning. He was just saying,
gotcha.
yeah, he got picked up, right?
I was about to say yes. So things have changed here. Is this weed or wide? How would y'all say that?
I would say weed. Why doesn't
You podhead. All right.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
He says it's
WIDE?
Yeah. He says stick to the damn board. Go Banks. I'm gonna do it. We're going Kelvin Banks Jr. All right, boys.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
There's our top pick in the all offensive.
I like it.
Draft. Pick 55. Let's load up offense again here, and we'll put every position. What are y'all thinking if you could pick any position to draft at right here? What's the position that comes to mind for you? I think I know what Tim's answer is.
Well, we're offense only, right? So
right.
On the card, take Jaden Higgins. Let's go.
All right. So if we look at who's best on the board according to PFF, Cam Scatabo, running back out of Arizona State, Xavier Restrepo out of Miami, Elijah Arroyo, tight end out of Miami, Ariante Essery, tackle out of Minnesota, Dylan Sampson, halfback out of Tennessee, Travion Henderson, halfback out of Ohio State, and then Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU. It's going to be tough to search, but we're going to try to do it here.
Ursery we have at 41. Or I'm sorry, 40.
Who's that?
Ursery. Ariante Ursery.
All right.
Is Jack Besh still on the board?
So
Who's that?
Jack Besh. Is he still on the board?
That's a good question. Let's see here. He should be, right? Surely he didn't go that early. Where is Jack Besh?
I think they took him.
Did they take him? Oh, here, let's just do this. This is probably easier, wouldn't it? Do we see him over here? No. Yeah,
The
there
Bears
you go.
got Higgins, Tim. What are,
Oh my gosh.
what are we gonna?
Wait, okay, all right. Hold on. Scroll up. Wait a second. I think I saw my boy.
Who'd you see?
I think to the right on the available. I
Oh.
think Tulsa East's finest right there. Bo is still on the board.
Bo.
Tulsa East.
Oh,
There he is. Purdue. Let's go.
Wow.
Tim and Bo. I swear.
Double
man.
dip. Let's go. Take another tackle. Let's go.
All right, let's start from the top here, Emilio. Who do we think is the best on our board? Let's see where Restrepo is. I know he's
Gadaboo is 80th. Ursary is 40th.
okay. So
and
it's
then-
Ursary so far.
Arroyo is
I'm trying to find Arroyo here. Hold on a second. Arroyo is 64th. All right.
mhm. So it's still
And then-
Ursary.
Sampson, Travion Henderson, Mason Taylor. Where's Mason Taylor? Let's see where he's at real quick. Mason Taylor is 49th. All right. What about Cameron Williams? Cameron Williams is
95th.
95th, so he's pretty far down. So
Where's
yeah,
Bo?
who's that?
Where's Bo?
It's pretty low.
Minbo is 62.
Yeah, 62.
Okay.
So if what it comes down to is Ursary's best on our board, right? But do we really want to do another offensive line here? You know what I mean? Or do we want to just maybe remove offensive line and go a different route? What do y'all think? And we need to chat to chime in here too. I'll read this super chat real quick, and you guys in the chat, let us know who you would like to take here. Sports Report with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, you come to Foothills, Jordan will have a signed love jersey if they acquire a offensive tackle, offensive line within the next week. All right, appreciate the super chat there, sir. Go ahead. What's up,
Foothills
Emilio?
of what?
Why are you asking? You're asking too many questions, Emilio.
I don't- Jordan's
Ready
gonna
to
have a
go.
signed jersey at Foothills. Where?
Hey, quit asking questions, man. Let's say Footloose. No, not Footloose, Joyce Martha. Oh no, she says foot. No, she's asking questions. Just Foothills. All right. So thank you for the super chat there, Sports Report. What are we thinking here, boys? What's everybody saying in the chat? Everybody in the
They're saying
chat.
take the kid from Tulsa East. Let's go.
No, they are not, Tim. They're not saying that.
Now, I think you take Ursary and say that wall is pretty well stoked up with material, and then we can drop it down after that.
Tim, this your girl. This your girl, Tim. Read it.
Is the Foothills your Oval Office? Oh man.
Oh my God, that's gold.
Don't
Gold.
put that name in my mouth right there.
Jacob would be so proud right now. All right. Anyway,
Yeah,
Um,
Jacob's at the Foothills right now.
Yeah.
Who- Emilio, who was the highest rank that we just went through
Ursary.
that
Ursary's
was
40.
not an offensive line? You remember?
That would have been Arroyo then, I believe.
Arroyo. So the question becomes, guys, would you rather take Ursary tackle, right? Is what they've got him listed at here.
Correct.
Who's ranked higher, or Arroyo?
No, I'm sorry, Mason Taylor, LSU tight end.
Was he ranked higher?
Yeah, he's 40. He's 49th.
Would y'all rather go Mason Taylor or Ursary? Everybody in the chat, rapid fire. We're at the 108 mark here. All right. So Ursary tackle out of Minnesota or Mason Taylor tight end. Jake Shavink, of course, he says Taylor right off the bat. You know he's going to
Tight
take a
end in
tight
the
end.
second round.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
Tim, sir, this is an all offensive draft. There's no holds barred, man.
Yeah.
Can't
Neither
argue.
are
We're
we.
hoping that we spent all our money in free agency on Khalil Mack and Calais Campbell, and we brought in Darius Slay, and we brought in everybody.
All right.
It's Taylor. It's Taylor.
Looks like it's Taylor. Looks like Taylor's running away with it.
Uh-oh.
Yep. All right. We're doing it, boys. We're doing it. And somebody else is tweeting it out. It's not going to be me. The pick is in. And
God, that
Yeah.
sound is good,
Take
man.
that-
I miss that stuff.
Take that big dog from Louisiana State. Let's go.
we're out down there eating some gumbo. We're going Mason Taylor, also known as Joy Taylor's nephew. I'm sure he doesn't like that right now. But anyway, there we go.
I'm pretty sure he's the son. I'm pretty sure he's a generation.
No, it's Jason It's Jason Taylor's
The
son.
Miami Edge, right? The old
Mhm.
Miami Edge. Yeah, that's a
Unbelievable
dog.
player, man.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
that's a dog.
Shut up, Prince. I see what you put in here, sir. All right, wide receiver. Let's leave tight end off this time. All right.
Yeah.
We'll go back to offensive tackle. We'll go running back. We'll go interior offensive line. All
We're
right.
taking Bo now, right? Is he still on the board?
Hey, this is the problem we had last night, Tim. Wyatt Malum is way higher on our board than Bo. We went with Malum, if I remember right. Let's see if Bo's still there, though. Bo might be gone. Is Bo gone?
Oh,
I think Bo
look at
is
that.
gone. Where did he go? Oh, look.
Oh, come on.
This worked out great. All right. So what are we thinking here, boys? Emilio, I'm going to start at the top. You tell me what you see here. DJ Giddens, Jonah Savania, I think is how you say it, out of Arizona.
Okay.
Wyatt Malum.
So the only one I don't have is DJ Givens, but right now Tate Ratledge 54, Wyatt Malum 55, Savania from Arizona is 66, and then Devin Neal is 67. So
Okay.
those are basically all in the same tier.
Got it. And it's just crazy. We're going all offense and we're not drafting wide receivers, but the board is just not lining up, is it? Like, I mean, there's not a receiver. Let me just put receivers up. We know who the offensive line will be. Who'd you say? Tate Ratledge? Is that right?
Yeah, Tate Ratledge and then Wyatt Malum. It's literally 10 points. So like from the final number, from Tate Ratledge to Devin Neal is 53.8 to 63.3. So they're all in that cluster.
All right, let's
Are
go
we
rapid.
really going to ignore these three right here? Savion Williams, Tez Johnson, Isaiah Bond.
Let's
There's
pull
not
them
one
up.
of those that we could grab right here.
We got Savion Williams at 96. All right.
Okay. And we're picking
As-
87 right now, right?
Ez is 89th.
Tez would be the best one right now.
Though I did not expect him to run as slow as he did, and I didn't really like that for the kind of wide receiver he is.
Torrey Horton's 117.
Yep.
Drew D said, "Why would we grab a wide receiver when we're trading for DK Metcalf?"
That's true.
There you go. See, we're justifying everything now.
I love it.
Kobe Hudson's significantly lower.
Pat
the
Bryant's
only-
122.
Yeah, the only wide receiver that makes sense is Tez Johnson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
So
Isaiah
do-
Bond he's the little guy, right?
He's the one who said he was going to set the new record. You ran a 4.4.
Yep.
So I'm sorry when you talk a lot of crap and you don't back it up, you drop on my board. Not on my board, but in my mind.
I like Johnson or Horton right here.
So Tez Johnson, Emilio, who was the offensive lineman and what was he ranked that we said we liked? That's going to be the
Tate
decision.
Ratledge is 54th. Wyatt Malum is 55th. I
And
honestly would rather take.
Tez Johnson is 89, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather take Devin Neal at 67 before we take a wide receiver, Tez Johnson.
Yeah. But for me, the pick would be Tate Ratledge.
Yeah, I think I'm good with that.
Everybody all right with that? Drew D says Jared Wilson. Let's see where Jared Wilson's on our board before we take Tate here. Jared Wilson is 87th, so not too far off.
Mhm.
Not too far off. But in this scenario, we're definitely kicking Elton Jenkins over to center, I believe, with the guys we've taken already for sure.
Can you go to our picks real quick before we pull that? Who do we have?
Yeah, let's see here. Kelvin Banks,
Okay.
23rd pick, and then we went Mason Taylor.
We only got one piece of the wall. So yeah, we need another one. Let's bring in Tate.
All right, so
This
we're
is
going
making
Tate.
my head hurt. We can't take any defense right now.
I know it.
It's
I know.
weekend. Tim's about to get on the phone back there. Goody, who authorized this?
Exactly. All right, so we're going to go Tate Ratledge, guard out of Georgia. Did he have any snaps at center at any point? He did not, did he? No.
No, he's taking the Sean Ryan spot from him immediately.
Come on, we'll turn him into a center in no time.
That's exactly right. We'll put Mason Taylor in at center. All right. Tate Ratledge, guard out of Georgia, is the pick. Now we're in the
Ooh.
4th round pick, 124.
Look at your QB there, Clayton.
Yeah. No, thank you, sir. No, thank
He's
you.
at 130.
Is he really at
Put
130?
that name in my mouth right there.
Wow.
QB,
Just-
running back, wide receiver. And
Let's
I think
see.
that, and maybe, let's see here.
Let's really try not to take an offensive lineman here, right? Let's see if we can Try not to do that. So let's just go quarterback, wide receiver, running back. So we got Riley Leonard, you said is in the 120 something, right?
Yep.
Jaden Blue, wasn't he one of the fastest running backs at the college?
Ooh, Jaden Blue is a mismatch player in mid rounds, according to DJ. He is one of the three. Jaden Blue, RJ Harvey, and Fannin. Where
Drew
it
D
was
said, Drew D says Tim's twitching over here.
Oh, God, just take a receiver.
Anything.
Take Torrey Horton. Somebody,
I-
please. We still don't have a receiver.
Where's Dylan Gabriel at? Let me look him real quick. We got him in the 112 spot. He makes the most sense right now, don't he?
Dang. He's a
Jaden-
lefty, right?
We got to get Jaden Blue up on our board somehow, some way, because he's really, really low. We have
Yeah,
no-
he is swimming, but that's the dog after hearing what DJ talked about him.
Do we want to force a wide receiver here, guys? Do you think we should do that?
Let's see. What are our options?
So we got Torrey Horton. I'll start with him. You take the second one, Pat Bryant.
Pat, he was in 140s. I think.
Torrey Horton's 117 on our board.
Pat Bryant, 122.
Okay, so Torrey Horton, 117. Kobe Hudson is 226, so it's still Torrey Horton, 117.
Kyle Williams is 420. Nick Nash, he's actually pretty high up.
Yep.
Nick Nash is 128. So
So
he
if
is.
we don't go here, who's going to be on the board at 160 is the question.
No, we're in a wide receiver cluster, Tim. Torrey Horton's at 117. Pat Bryant's at 122, and Nick Nash was at 128. From Torrey Horton, his final number being 91.3 to Nick Nash's 99.0. So they're in that same 10 span of cluster.
I think if it looks 6'3", 185, Tim, 6'3".
Yep.
Torrey Horton, if we're going to go wide receiver, it needs to be Torrey Horton. No doubt about it. Are we going to force ourselves to do that, or do we want to throw other positions up? That's the question.
Well, if we're going offense only and we're not going O-line, that leaves us with running back and tight end and quarterback. Yeah.
Jake Shavink says Torrey Horton, then Tootin. They're I'm trying to think. Yeah, didn't he have a good combine too? If I remember right.
I think so.
Let's see what happens with tight end here. We didn't even look at tight end because we already
got Mason Taylor. That's why.
Right. Yeah. We're gonna. I think Torrey Horton's the guy. What do y'all think?
Mm-hmm.
I do too. Because Nick Nash is he's a little undersized, right? Nick Nash is a shorter slot guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Many people were higher on him. I want to say he had a good Senior Bowl, if I remember correctly. And Jake Shavink did confirm 6'2" and a half, 198. So he put on some weight. Torrey Horton did at the combine. No. So there you go.
Don't let the small school fool you, right?
Thick.
There
Yeah,
you go.
let's go.
J. Cole. I think everybody's on board. J. Cole says Horton screams Packer. Amen.
Love
All
it.
right. Torrey Horton, wide receiver out of college.
His receiving is tough.
All right. Now we're in the 5th round here. Pick 160. All right.
All right, go get your quarterback, Clayton.
Let's see here. Let's look at QB. Let's just look at, is there a QB of the future here, Emilio, that we have on?
Tyler Shaw. Shaw.
Oh,
Good
yes. I'm
Senior
sorry.
Bowl. Had a good Senior Bowl.
Quinn Ewers 111 on our board. Okay. McCord 134. Shaw is 146. So right now, if we were to go quarterback, it would be Quinn Ewers. Rorick,
What? Tyler Shaw has 4 degrees. 4.
that's great, Emilio.
He's a
I'm
smart
not
cook.
looking for a teacher. I need somebody to throw that pigskin over that mountain right there. You know what I'm saying? Brady Cook was one of those that measured out really, really well, but he's low on our board. He's like 203. Max Brosmer. So if we were to go to quarterback here, it would definitely be Quinn Ewers, according to our board. Right? I'm not saying we have to. I'm just kind of looking through. That's the one that would make the most sense, according to our board. So Quinn Ewers would be the pick at QB. What positions do y'all want to see here? You want to look at wide receiver again, maybe tight end, and throw the offensive line back up? Let's do them all other than quarterback, since we just looked at quarterback. We know Quinn Ewers is the quarterback if we go that route. Jackson Halls is a really good blocking tight end. I remember them talking about him. He didn't grade out well according to PFF, but a really, really good blocking.
165. That's not bad. He can block. He can.
What about Kobe? Let's see here. Let me go Kobe Hudson.
I think it's got to be Nick Nash.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. The fact that he's still there. What about Seth McLaughlin? He's 166. What did you say Nick Nash was?
128.
Yeah, You're right. We're going to be going Nick Nash here. Connor Colby, Tyler Cooper, Logan Brown. There's Monheim.
Ooh, Marcus Yarns.
Oh, I stand corrected on Nick Nash, 6'3", 195. He's not a little guy.
Okay, I like this. Let's get Nick Nash, and then we'll get our boy Marcus Yarns next pick.
Monheim is 127. Where did you say Nick Nash was, Amelia?
120, right above him, I think.
Ooh,
126.
Yeah, so Monheim is
Monheim. That would make Jacob happy. That's his guy.
Monheim is one pick above Nick Nash. Yeah. What do you think, Amelia? I'm gonna let you call this one.
Yeah.
We could use the center.
We could use the center. And I do love building a nice wall in front of Jay Love and getting that road grade for Jacobs. So
807 snaps at center this last year.
That's a lot of snaps. 1,000, 800, consistently on the field. I'd say bring him in.
And his and his old teammate, Marshawn Lloyd, will be healthy to run behind him as well. So there you go.
He knows how to read a bunch. Marshawn Lloyd knows how to read a
that he's on the board if we don't take him here.
What's that now?
You think Monheim survives the next round if we don't
let's
take him
see
here?
Monheim, his average draft position is 175. Okay. Our next pick is 200. He will be gone. No doubt.
Okay.
Yeah. I say we do it. Go Monheim here. That good?
Welcome to the squad.
All right. We're going center/interior offensive lineman out of USC, Jonah Monheim.
That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem.
Well,
pick 200, boys. Coming down the stretch now. We throw quarterback back up there. Obviously, our boy is gone now. I think Rorick was fairly high. We don't have to take a quarterback, though. Let's throw them all up here. Let's go wide receiver. Let's go tight end. Let's go running back. Let's hold off on offensive line because we've taken one, or we've taken two in the last three picks.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were to kind of go through these names here, Ollie Gordon, Keith Allen.
Ricky White,
UNLV, Ty Felton, Maryland.
Chisholm, where's Chisholm at? I think he's one of those dudes I thought had a really good Senior Bowl week or East-West Shrine, whichever it was, but he is not very high on our board at all.
Ricky White's the pull, Clay. He's 118 on the board.
Is he really?
Yeah.
118 for Ricky White. Let's take a look here. Oh,
he's a guy.
Look at him in 2023, boys. 90.5, receiving grade 82, yards per route ran 2.93. Yeah, grade versus man coverage, not bad either, 70.5.
And I'm sorry to burst
190.
Let's go. Sorry to burst that excited bubble I just gave you, but Andre Gadsden is actually 100th on the board.
Oh, Gadsden is.
Yeah.
But he is available,
down. Yeah.
All right, let's see where Gadsden's going to be taken. 215. He'll definitely be gone. So Gadsden is higher on our board. Is that right?
Yeah, he's 100. He is top 100.
He's also not 23 years old either. So Goody DiCaprio factor, guys. He's a little younger.
Got to flash it up there for him, Tim. Got to show him here, man. You know what I mean? There you go.
I'm the king of the draft.
And when you look at Gadsden's numbers here, pretty damn solid. 82, 80, 82. Measurables, 6'5", 236, 21 years old, like Tim was saying. This is the guy, ain't it, Amelia?
That's the guy.
All right, Gadsden it is. Got us two tight ends. We'll put Tucker Kraft on the trade block. You know what I'm saying?
What? How dare you?
We're going to be marching out 13 personnel.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
All right.
Heavy run team with a heavy O-line rotation.
All right, so we're not taking another tight end, okay?
Let's
get it back. We don't want to get three?
Now it's kind of feeling like maybe running back if one makes sense here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's clear the board and just look at running back. Are there any running backs worth a darn left here? We got Marks. Let's go through rapid fire, see if we can find the best running back. We got to get us a running back here. So let's go Marks.
149.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Then Montrell is 301. Raheem Sanders is 168. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be Marks here. Another USC guy, huh?
Yep.
What do you think? Should we do it?
I like it.
He'll be gone after this pick for sure. So let's go ahead and grab us a running back. We're going to go Jaquavius Yeah, Jaquavius Marks out of USC. So he will be reunited with Jonah Monheim and Marshawn Lloyd. Okay. Now, final pick. Tim, you're calling the shots on this one. What position do you want to see, sir?
Oh man,
I'm exhausted, by the way.
Tim said, check that special teams.
No, we got to do offense only, right?
Yeah.
I do offense only.
Give me another receiver. Pull up the receivers. Who's left?
Receiver, we got Theo Weiss Jr., we got Kyron Lacey, Zachary Franklin, Rock Taylor, Jackson Meeks, Brew McCoy. Who the hell are these guys? I don't know any of these cats. There's Ja'Cory
Rock
Brooks.
Taylor is the only one who made my short list out of these guys.
Is it?
Yep. Other than go up one more to the top there. Who do we see? Yeah, Theo Weiss Jr. Look out of Missouri.
Yep.
He on our board?
Yes.
He is in the 313 spot.
Yep.
Okay,
Rock Taylor is 294.
Ooh, and we're picking 251 right now.
Zachary Franklin's lower.
Karen Lacey, though, he is actually 232.
Oh yeah, the guy from LSU. That's right, Lacey.
We're just going to stock up on USC players and LSU players in the draft.
Right. Meeks is 224.
All right. What about quarterback?
Here we go. Now
I mean, we're in the 7th round. Who's on the board? Let's just see.
putting Jordan Love on the trade block. So that's what I'm talking about. Here we go. We got Graham Mertz out of Florida. We got Seth Hennigan out of Memphis. Will Rogers out of Washington. Donovan Smith out of Houston. KJ Jefferson, UCF. And then Ualugale. How do you say that name again?
Who?
I know you know his name.
DJ Uangale.
He was one that was like, they were projecting him to be potentially a first-round pick coming into this season, and he just fell off the face of the earth. PFF grade 79, 82, 71. Where did he end up on our board? I haven't even looked.
293.
Wow, that's crazy, man, how much he has dropped. So who would be the best quarterback? And we'll go with him. KJ Jefferson, right? Where's he at? He is, damn, all these guys are in the
No, let's go back to receiver.
Yeah, it's either got to be Meeks or I'm sorry. Yeah, you were right. Meeks is 224, Lacey is 232.
Yeah, Kyron Lacey. Let's go. Run the card.
Now what we're doing, Lacey,
he's over 6 feet tall, right? Pull up the
6'2".
Oh yeah, let's go. 6'2", 213. Book it. Run the card.
That's the ball game, folks. Kyron Lacey out of LSU. I'm gonna reunite him and Mason. Was it Mason Taylor? Is that who it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mason Taylor. So here is the no, it ain't, Amelia. Don't you encourage this ever again will we do this. Look at Rondé Gadsden. Like, how does he always get graded so low in these picks, man? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Anyway, 23rd pick, we went Kelvin Banks Jr. We got a borderline top 10 pick on our board at 23.
Mm-hmm.
Sign me up. With the 55th pick, we went tight end Mason Taylor, also known as Joy Taylor's nephew. Okay. With the 87th pick, we went guard Tate Ratledge out of Georgia. 124, we went wide receiver Torrey Horton out of Colorado State. Pick 160, we went center Jonah Monheim out of USC. Pick 200, we went tight end Rondé Gadsden II out of Syracuse. Pick 239, we went running back Jaquavius Marks out of USC. And then 251, we went wide receiver Kyron Lacey out of LSU. There you go. There's your all.
I can't wait for you to put that on line, Clayton. That's going to be a good one.
I'm not tweeting that. I have gotten abused so much on Twitter. I'm not tweeting this out. All right. It's not happening. Tim, you going to put it up on your burner account?
No, I'll put it up on my regular account. It's all
scared
good.
or you? Screenshot.
I'm not scared of nothing. No. Other than the fact that we just took Kyron Lacey and he may or may not be in custody at the time of the kickoff to the season. So
are you serious?
See how that goes.
What did Kyron Lacey do? Allegedly.
Do
we know?
Just
do we want to mention it? Do we want
hit and run?
Oh, hit and run.
Yeah. Wow. So you're saying we should have had 2 Syracuse players. We should have brought Meeks back.
See, Tim, that's information we needed in the draft room, sir. You hear me?
Hey.
Tim, so I don't get paid enough for this. I love it. Drew,
allegedly, right?
Tim's going to come back traumatized after posting this. He's going to disappear for a couple weeks. We'll get that. You guys know what I'm talking about. You got people that you follow on Twitter, you're really vocal on Twitter. You're like, I haven't seen nothing from them in a while. You click on it, it says unavailable. They're gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
They got kicked off or they quit or something. So,
wow.
Coach Lynn really drunk driving killed somebody.
Yeah, I just scrolled over that myself.
All right. So the chat comes up and saves us 5 minutes after we needed this information. Where was this 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Someone
Can we trade that 7th round pick real quick?
We would have taken Meeks from Syracuse and we would have been happy.
That's horrible. Horrible. I've done some stupid stuff in my life. And the thought of taking someone's life because you're driving drunk, oh my God, man. That's just.
I mean, let's just stop there, right? Driving drunk at all. Like,
exactly.
Just,
Jake Shafiq said, well, guess we got to start again. We got 307 people in there. I don't know. Y'all, listen, I appreciate the support. Hit the like button while you're in here, but go do something more productive than hanging out with us. This was a waste of time. Now, we covered quite a bit. We got a lot we didn't get to on Twitter because you knuckleheads made us do this mock draft. But
offense only. Yeah, that was
offense
interesting.
Only. Tim was just steaming. Tim's like, why did I even come on?
Now you know why we ended up with Kyron Lacey at the end. You know,
yeah.
I'm just seeing stars over here.
All right, now we got to do an all defensive mock draft soon.
Let's go. Now you're talking.
Crank it up. All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll be back in a second.
Come back for hour 4.
All right. Well, again, I do want to say this. Now, we went off the rails a little bit there and had some fun, but I don't want to make light of that situation. That's absolutely horrible. So, anyway, we'll be back in the morning. I believe we're going to do a morning show, 8:30 a.m. Central for a little Good Morning Lambo, a little PTA in the morning, a little PTA a.m. We got a couple of things we didn't scared the hell out of me. We didn't hit that we were going to tonight, so we'll finish up with that. Matter of fact, I'll make a note here. We're going to pick up with something that Diana Rossini said that really got my attention. I don't know if you guys seen this on the whole DK thing, but
oh boy,
I don't want you guys probably seen it, but we'll talk about it in the morning. Just little things that's popping up with DK that just throwing red flags with me, and I'm just kind of like, oh boys, I don't know. It's just something just doesn't feel right about that. But anyway, we will see y'all in the morning. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Super chats, everything. Shout out to King Tron, Mike Hebring, King Tron again. King Tron being a member for 2 months, also gifting a membership here on YouTube. Mr. Jass, you guys know him as Hugh. I know him as Mr. Jass. Mike Hebring with the super chat, too old for this. The Sports Report with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate you. Ron Samble with the super chat. Chris C. We got Chat. We got Sports Report again. We don't take it lightly. Thank y'all so much for all the support. We will see y'all in the morning. Emilio, Tim, thank y'all for your time. Have a good night.
Appreciate it.
Emilio, go stay up till 3 a.m. and sleep in, man. I know that's what you're
College Football Ultimate Team. Seasons are going to change in the next couple of days. Get it in.
Got to get it in. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate you.
And we go.
Bye, guys.